Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Clash of the Reds podcast. I'm your host, Daniel. I'm taking the reins after Uzidog went a bit rogue last episode and was making blasphemous comments against the almighty Arsenal. So I'm back in control, unlike Mr. Ruben Amorim, who's been sacked. The big news of today, we have fantastic host, the United boys over here. Uzidog, how are you, my man?
So I just had to unmute my teams. Just kidding. I'm very well. I mean, I haven't been keeping on top of the football news today over the past few days. I'm not even sure if I'm wearing a Manchester United shirt. Let me just come out of you. I'm doing okay. Thank you for asking.
And just to clarify, before Dr. Munchi gets some hate, this is not Omar Barada. This is Dr. Omar Munchi, a Man United fan, not CEO of Manchester United. How are you doing, bro?
I am good. Well, the way things are going, you never know, I might end up becoming CEO. Things are chopping and changing quite a lot.
Yeah, there might be. You might do a better job than his current board. We'll tell you that much.
It's been a whirlwind of a few days there. A lot to unpack.
Absolutely. And of course, Liverpool Mandem in the house. Tamim, how are you, bro?
I'm all good, bro. Well, I'm still in shock by that Harrison Reed screamer. So, I'm still recovering, mate. I'm still recovering. Otherwise, good.
And Dr. Zahid, how are you, man? Are you in the same boat as Tamim?
I'm not surprised, but I mean, we'll get into it later. Just as my description says, just boring FC. I mean, it's just the same old shit. But yeah, we can get into that later.
So, Daniel, just to confirm, have I has there been like a coup over this podcast? Have I been removed after like one season or one term? Is that how it is? Yeah, that's very on the nose, very meta, by the way. I'm not sure we should dabble into politics, but yeah, I might need to start a resurgency. Click like and subscribe if you want to see a resurgency from me.
Good, nice little reminder, Aussie Dog, that there was some question marks about why you were hosting last week. Like, why was Uzi hosting for once? I was like, yeah, it was my patchy internet. Like, it was as patchy as United and Liverpool's form, but it seems to be back on track, just like Arsenal's title run. But we're not talking about that just yet. We'll park that discussion for the United chat. Of course, Ruben Amorim sacked at 10 a.m. this morning. A very, very weird time for a David Ornstein bomber. Here we are. Some would argue, Omar, that maybe this had come maybe 6 months too late. You know, United finishing 15th. Not getting past Tottenham, giving Tottenham their first ever trophy in 17 years. What's your thoughts? Like, do you think it was too late? Do you think it was the right time? Do you think he should stay? You posted, it was 49% saying that he should have gone and 51% that he should stay. What's your thoughts, bro?
That percentage did actually decrease in, I think when I last checked it, which was around about lunchtime, it'd gone down to 47% saying he should stay. So it's still relatively even Stevens, but I'm in the camp that he should have stayed, primarily because you can see that something was developing there. Has improved on from last season. There was players were slowly starting to get better. He got rid of the so-called bomb squad, or some of them anyway, and they seemed like there was a bit of a better cohesion amongst the team and the players there. Results this season still haven't been great. There's still room for improvement, but the games that we have, particularly the more recent ones, we've drawn. Last season probably would have been losses. So, Rome wasn't built in a day. It will take time to, get somewhere. You can't just do it overnight. So I'm in the camp that he should have stayed. It seemed like most of this stuff is probably more related to, clashes with the boardroom rather than the actual results itself. and it seems like that's probably played out over the past week or so, this sort of Christmas period, based on what we're reading and stuff like that. A lot of arguments behind the scenes and things, which then throws into, there is some questions behind, Amorim, some of his tactics. For example, he did a back four against Newcastle, which seemed to work really well, and then went back to a back three against Wolves and Leeds, which didn't work as well. So, okay, fair enough, he has his questions, but a lot of questions towards the Ineos lot in terms of how they're managing a lot of the recruitment, particularly the managerial recruitment. So there's the issues with Ten Hag, a lot of people saying he should have gone after the FA Cup. There was a lot of talk, even then actively speaking to other managers like Tuchel, but then deciding to keep him on, give him in the contract extension, give him 200 million to spend on the market, and only for them to get rid of him 4 months later. Then they brought in Amorim, who is known for being very dogmatic in his tactical approach, 3-4-3. Liverpool were interested in him for replacing Klopp, but decided against it because he was adamant on sticking to a 3-4-3. So they knew what they were walking into. So why have they then decided that we're not going to follow this system anymore? So that was a lot of it. Was that the Jason Wilcox and Christopher Vavell was saying that he should switch back to a back four, and Amorim was saying that's interfering with what I want to do. I know what I need to do. Let me concentrate on that. And basically, that's where the argument stem from. I do think he's probably, rather than just outright quitting, he's done a bit of a Jose and he's just talked himself out of the job. He knew he was on his way out. Basically, let me have this bit of a bombshell, couple of press conferences so I can get a sack rather than quitting outright or leaving by mutual consent.
There were pictures of him. Sorry, Tammy. There were pictures of him smiling, right?
I've seen one of them in the morning. I wouldn't say in the picture that I saw he was particularly smiling, but yeah.
So, sorry, Tammy, you were saying?
That's all good. The point you made about the directors, sporting director wanted to go to a back four, but Amorim wanted to stick to his back three. Who do you think is in the right there? Because I personally think, the coach is a coach. You let him be, right? He's the one that manages the team. He's a direct point of contact with the team, right? Even if we as fans or sporting director thinking, he's doing it all wrong being in the back three, he's still the coach, right? I mean, what do you think? What's your opinion? And
so I would have sided with Amorim on that point, particularly as this was well known about him that he loves his 3-4-3. The higher ups knew this about him going into the season, going into hiring him. So it's not like this is just like, let me experiment and see what happens and I'm going to stick with it. That's how he played at Sporting. That's how he played at Braga. That's what he wants to do. That's what he's always done. That's what he's been trying to get this team to do for the past year. More recently, because of players going off to AFCON and a few injuries, he's had to go to a back four. That's where thingy. So I would side with him in the sense that he's had to make these changes partly because of selection availabilities rather than external pressures. That was always his big thing. Like when he made that statement about the Pope's not going to change my mind, it was always about if he's going to do it, it's going to be on his terms, not because of what the pundits are saying, what's in the media, and in this particular case, not what's from the higher ups. But they weren't having it, and so I would side with Amorim on that aspect of it, in the sense that the higher ups knew what they were getting when they hired him, so they should have backed him on that front.
So Richard, Man United fan here. How you doing, Richard? He's seen what Maresca did with his comments and just copied and pasted. He wanted out, and as soon as you start name dropping the hierarchy, you're signing your own termination papers. Yeah, basically what Richard said here. the fact that he kind of was calling shots at James Wilcox and Omar Barada, kind of had the rule in that situation, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I think it was a bit of a Jose tactic where, you know, has his fiery press conferences that just keep on ampling up until he gets the sack and then the severance pay.
I feel like to some extent that I think he was asked specifically about control, I think, at the club by the journalist, and I guess he seemed to sort of just go off on one. It seemed like a very, very risky strategy. Either he calls out the club in public, and you know, it was almost like it's him or the director. I think it was Omar Barada and James Wilcox, right? Yeah, so it was the board were either going to choose between him or them. And for some reason, he said he in his press conference he was talking about him being the manager, but he was never signed as a manager. He was signed as a head coach, and he says this was understood from the beginning. That's literally what he said in his press conference. But if he was hired as a head coach, then he's clearly a head coach, and that's what his role is. And I mean, the difference between a head coach and a manager is quite broad in terms of the control and the oversight that they have. Whereas a head coach, from what I understand, basically focuses on the team, whereas a manager has more oversight in terms of financial responsibilities, scouting and recruitment, media and public relations, and that sort of stuff. So I think he wanted, either he was just throwing a Hail Mary and saying, look, I'm going to go out with my ego intact and you have to sack me if you want to get rid of me. Maybe because he gets a big payout out of it as well, or he can just say that he never left, he got pushed out. But yeah, it's just, is it something like, how many managers, is it 15 managers, 10 years, something ridiculous? There's like a high number of turnover of managers at United. And it's as a non-United fan, it's I mean, I've gone through Ten Hag in, I've gone through Van Gaal in, gone through Amorim in, Jose in. Like, yeah, it's been a great watch, but it's also sad to see, to certain aspect, like how quickly the board are ready to oust the manager and not look at other things outside of, maybe look at themselves or look at the people that they brought in, because it was James Wilcox himself that brought in Amorim. So yeah, it's just
I guess
it's interesting the board didn't get rid of them, considering they brought him in and it was their mistake.
I guess the question is United becoming the new Tottenham? Because it seems like the Tottenham cycle, like Antonio Conte, fantastic manager, Jose Mourinho, fantastic manager, but clearly issues behind the scenes, behind the manager at boardroom level, which has caused it to not work. I mean, yeah, what are your thoughts with your dog?
Typical Arsenal fans. Not even 15 minutes in, you mentioned Tottenham. Also, shout out to Richard for your comment. We need more United supporters in the chat. I often get violated by Daniel here, so it's nice to have a bit of support. You know, man's Chester United, yeah, not Manchester. Same old rubbish, man. Stevie Wonder FC. I don't understand this club. It's toxic. I'm looking at Amorim's records here. Don't troll me in the chat. He's in the Europa League. 11 games he managed. He only lost one, which was the final. He won 8 games and he drew 2. Yeah, his Premier League record wasn't the best, but I just don't understand what they're trying to do. You can't tell me all these managers that they've had are bad. Every manager United has had since Ferguson has been a good manager. There's just something toxic at this club. I couldn't care less where they go, what they do. Gosh, I sound like I'm about to sing a Backstreet Boys song. I don't care who you are. Rubbish club, man. Seriously, they wind me up. Everything Omar said, yeah, pretty much on point. I have nothing valuable to add. It's scrub Chester United. Crap. You know? We're still better than Arsenal. I mean, historically speaking, looking at our record, but still just all over the place. I don't even know who's going to come in now. I've seen some names. Zidane's been thrown in there. Ten Hag's been thrown in there. Xavi's been thrown in there, but there's something really toxic at this club. I think it's just more of an accountancy club. They're more concerned about the commercial aspect. And they're becoming history merchants now, unfortunately. They're just riding off what they've done before. Yeah, not optimistic at all. Luckily, I got my Arsenal shirt as a backup. So if United obviously get relegated, I can still support Arsenal. So yeah. Thank you, Richard. Please, more comments.
You forgot to throw in Arteta in that mix as well.
Yeah, Arteta's the greatest manager ever. Come on, man. Like, seriously. Whatever happens, you know, you can combine all the United managers. None of them comes close to Arteta coming second 3 times in consecutive years, man. That is a phenomenal achievement. Amazing. Forget all the trophies that we won in that time. Forget any of the accomplishments we've had. Arteta is the greatest manager ever. Come at me, bro. That's what you said to me earlier, yeah?
You're lucky my internet's freezing. Otherwise, I would have cut you off earlier, bro. No, but funnily enough, Rio Ferdinand kind of made the same comment again that he did with the tactical manager. Oh, if the United job, then he would definitely go for it. It's like, come on, man. Like, everyone can see that this is a toxic club. And what Arteta has done effectively at Arsenal, which Amorim clearly hasn't been able to do, is manage both upwards and downwards. So, like, having that ability to manage, you know, get what he wants from the owners and get what he wants from his staff. Because Arteta essentially was hired as a head coach initially. Yet he convinced the board that his job needed a wider remit. And he was upgraded to a manager once. Don Raul was sacked. Richard again coming back with another comment.
Yes, Richard.
Need to strip back to United roots, flying wingers, attacking football. I won't care if we get beat 6-5, just play the United way. By the way, I want to go over clocks and idiots go back to Brazil and go to Dog, your takes on this comment from Richard?
You literally broke up halfway, so I'm just going to read it separately. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, so in terms of the footballing aspect, I think it just depends on who they get in. But in general, the thing I remember when I was listening to one podcast, I can't remember which one it was, but it was from a while ago, from I think just after Rangnick left and Ten Hag came in, or in that period then. But they're talking about what is the United way, and they're talking about, you know, the standard playing youth, free-flowing attacking football, exciting fun football. But realistically, you can apply that to most of the top teams there. You can apply that to Arsenal, you can apply that to Liverpool, Barcelona. I wouldn't say there's a sort of United way, but what manager would you bring in that could do that? I don't know. In terms of bringing in Don Carlo, I actually did say a few years back when it was which was it? Was it before Ten Hag got brought in? I think it was in that period when Rangnick was manager. I think I was saying that they should have brought in Carlo Ancelotti back then. One of his best abilities is that he's able to work with any team. He doesn't have a particular style of play. He sees what plays he's got and he adapts his team according to that, and it's generally proved very successful all over. He's got 5 different league five leagues from 5 different countries or something along those lines. A number of Champions Leagues. So I don't think we would get him after the World Cup though. Realistically, I don't think he would leave after Brazil. After this year's World Cup, because they only got him 6 months ago, if that. I can imagine him staying on, unless he does disastrously bad at the World Cup. I can imagine him staying for a bit longer than 1 year. Some of the names that the one that I suspect that they might end up going for is if they go for, I reckon they'll probably bring in Carrick as interim. And then I reckon they might go for Oliver Glasner in the summer because his contract runs out. And yeah, he's not too happy with Crystal Palace, so I don't see him renewing things unless they give him any assurances on financial spending. So that's my prediction. I reckon that's what they'll go for. He's proven in the Premier League, and that's what they want. They want proven Premier League. Well, that was with the players anyway. They wanted proven Premier League, and in terms of managerial, he's proven in the Premier League. He's done very well. Crystal Palace. He'll play 4 at the back, which is what the team need at the moment. So yeah, that's my prediction. Bring in Carrick as an interim, and then they'll sign Glasner at the end of the season. I don't think they'll take him now, or I don't think they'll take him a manager from another team because I just don't think they'll be able to afford it. So I think they'll find someone that's out of contract somewhere, or that's not in a position. If they're hiring anyone soon, then I reckon they'll go for Maresca. Just because of his history with Jason Wilcox and Omar Brada at Man City.
Would you take Ollie again?
Okay.
And
I did consider this, and maybe it's looking back with rose-tinted glasses, but in terms of our post-Fergie period, he's probably been the most successful manager. He's the only one that's conceded consecutive top 4 finishes. He did get to, was it one? Oh, he only got to 1 final, wasn't it? And then it was 4 semis on the bounce or something like that. I reckon he's probably learned a lot in that time. He didn't do too bad with the Six-Packs when he was there for about 9 months he was there for. Yeah, I'll probably say maybe take him back on an interim basis. If they do, I don't think they'll give him the permanent job. But personally, I don't think I'd give it to him because then I just feel like it'll be a bit of a step backwards. I'll lean more towards someone like Carrick.
I'm just looking at the list of managers that you've had since Fergie. And according to this, your most successful manager was Jose.
Yeah.
He won the Europa League, he won the League Cup, and he won the Community Shield. And he had a win rate of 58.33%, and he managed 144 games.
Mm-hmm.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he managed 168.
Right?
Sorry?
It was the fans who got him out, essentially. They wanted attacking football. Like the chants from the crowd was attack, attack, attack. And
that was under Van Gaal. That wasn't under Mourinho. It was when Van Gaal was manager. That's when we were doing the attack chants. Mourinho was a combination of bust ups with the boardrooms, bust up with the players, and results not being great on the pitch. So I think it was just Mourinho's one was a multifactorial thing. It wasn't. Van Gaal was the one that was sacked for not getting into Champions League, but also not attacking football, playing boring football there. I remember, I can't remember, I think it was against Aston Villa, maybe, in the 2015 or 2014 season. There was one point where we had a corner, and within 3 passes, we've got it back to David De Gea. And then the crowd were just chanting, attack, attack, attack. And you could, like, it was just like, he had his philosophy, his mentality, but I think those days wasn't working.
Okay, I do feel like that kind of continued under Jose as well, and there might have been a bit of disgruntlement there. But yeah, I think this is where I kind of disagree with Dag here about having great managers. I don't think Ollie was a great manager, and I think there's a distinction between being a good manager and a good coach. And I think what Amorim was demonstrating was the ability to be a good coach. He, in terms of underlying metrics, I won't use Uzi's favorite term, but in terms of underlying metrics, they were going in the right direction for Manchester United. And they were thereabouts in terms of challenging for European football, whatever type of European football that is, be it Champions League, be it Europa. they're in those positions. Like I think United are kind of matching Liverpool's stats or points record in the league at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. Liverpool always can correct me on this if I'm dissing your club a little bit. It felt like, again, that ability to manage upwards and that ability to both manage your staff and as well that external pressure, like in his explosive presser, he was referencing Gary Neville, like clearly the media is in your head. He referenced the media a couple of weeks ago as well. It felt like after the Grimsby match that he was asking to be sacked at that moment. He said, the players are clearly asking for something different. So for me, I think he wanted out of the club back in August, to be fair. So
no, I wouldn't say he wanted back out in August.
I think that's a troll comment, Daniel. You should delete it. I think it's spam. I think you should report that channel as well.
How you doing, man? Hope you're okay.
Well, thank you, bro. Oh, right, footy corner. Yeah.
I wouldn't think he'd want it out in August because he didn't want to come in when he came in. He wanted to wait till the end of the season.
Now, hands up, you still want the one that you have.
I thought you were gonna do that. I thought you were gonna start Isha prayer, bro. Putting your hand up. What's going on, man?
I don't think he wanted to. I don't think he wanted to go in August. I think he himself said that he wanted to start in the summer. He didn't want to come in midway through because he wanted to finish off the season with Sporting and B have that summer transfer window to sort of get the team in the position that he wanted to. But he did say that coming in those from midpoint last year did sort of get him to an idea of what the team needs, and so he was hopefully able to build up over the summer. But yeah, I think you are right. It's one thing managing a squad; it's another thing managing the higher ups there. But it is a bit of, you would have thought he'd be okay with it because in Sporting he was a head coach. The Portuguese, in sort of generally in Portugal and Spain, they're known for having their sporting directors, so he should have known sort of how to work with them. So he, you would have thought he'd know what to expect when coming into the current setup at United. But I think there's a bit of blame on both sides in that he probably didn't need to be as dogmatic as what he was, but I would sort of lay a bit more on the Ineos side because they knew what they were hiring. And at the current moment in time, we're not doing too bad. We are 6th. Yes, the results are not fantastic, but progress is there. Our projection was that we'll finish in one of either Europa League or Europa Conference League. Ideally Europa League, and we're on track for that. So to get rid of him, I think now was a bit of a mistake.
To shout out to Sparks. Big up yourself, bro. Big up Ineos. If you are watching in the chat, if you're watching on Sparks' channel, please sub to both channels. Please sub to 40 Corner. Please sub to our channel as well, Clash of the Reds. Big up Ineos as well for their mismanagement of Manchester United at the moment. Also, it really is baffling. Like I took Ratcliffe at his word that he would. Well, you need to give him 3 years because clearly they were trying to copy what Arsenal were doing with Mikel Arteta. When there's combustible elements in any organization, something has to give. I
wouldn't say Arteta's the blueprint for this. I mean, plenty of clubs have done it in the past. Klopp with Liverpool was given what took them about 2 or 3 seasons before they got the formula right. If you go back to
what I mean was like really, really having bad results and then turning it around. I don't think Liverpool got to a point where they were 15th in the league and fans were like, well, maybe this guy needs to walk. I don't think I can correct me if I'm wrong, Liverpool fans. I don't think it ever got that bad with Klopp.
It was pretty. I mean, you could say it's pretty bad right before Klopp, right? You know, we had the whole banter period with the Roy Hodgson, Brendan Rodgers, Kenny Dalglish. Like we were in a crap place for a long time. So
Roy Hodgson.
Yeah, it was dark days, man. I'm telling you.
I know he was managing after his pension age. What's going on there?
Yeah, Rodgers' reign wasn't that bad, to be fair. Like
it got masked by that title run. Yeah, it got masked by that title run. But apart from that anomaly, man, like it was pretty bad. And that you could say that was down to the superstars we had, like mainly Suarez, of course. Gerrard was still pretty good. Coutinho, Sterling, Sturridge. You know, our attack did pretty well, but our defense was terrible. Apart from that particular season, Rodgers was terrible, and the whole period it was a banter period. I'm sure you remember it, man. You know, it was a proper banter period. So you could argue Klopp did not even argue it. He did a monumental job to bring us back to the top, and we were in a pretty crap place before that.
But so I think the key thing here, right? It wasn't just Klopp. Like Michael Edwards got a lot of flowers is what I was looking for his recruitment. You know, getting the likes of Salah, taking a punt on him. You know, getting what I think Firmino was under Michael Edwards as well. Mane as well. So getting that recruitment right. Kidnap Suarez, as Sparks was mentioned. All of these things I think has helped. So again, it's about harmony at boardroom level, I think, is what is missing at Manchester United. I feel like we've gone on this topic for quite a long time.
By the way, do you not feel like you're glazing Arteta a bit too much? Arteta can only run because Emery kind of did the hard graft. Arsenal experimented with Emery. They realised they can't be just chucking stuff at a manager straight away and expecting results. That didn't work out, and they thought, all right, let's go get in one of our boys. He's a bit cheaper. Let's go for like the kind of medium meal as opposed to the super size extra large one. Arteta's first season, he finished 8th. His second season, he finished 8th. And then obviously he had the kind of consecutive finishing second twice. Don't get me wrong. Arsenal plays good football, but you're glazing him a bit too much. He's been given like a lot of support by the club because he's an Arsenal man. Let's not pretend. And Arsenal weren't a small club before Arteta came in. Arsenal have always historically been a big club. And they weren't even in a bad position before he came in. They've always been underachievers. What he's done is been able to unite the team and move them a bit forward. But Arsenal's never kind of been a team that's been like, oh, lower league and all that. They've always been underachieving. That's all it is. So stop glazing Arteta as if he's this messiah. All right? Allow it. Liverpool was in a much more dire. Had Liverpool not won the Champions League in 2005, they would have been the biggest banner club ever. That's it. That's what I have to say. So allow it. If Arteta wins this year, they're cool. Glaze all you want. We can have like a Glaze podcast.
No. I'm going to cut you off now. I'm going to cut you off. Yeah.
Let's
I'm going
move
to
on
cut
to the
you
next
off.
Right?
Wait. I made this point offline. Right. Even if Arteta walked today, he would still be regarded as one of the best Arsenal managers that we've had in our recent history for how he's turned this club around. Yeah. Not everyone needs to have a piece of silverware. Yeah, I'm going to bust out a wrestling reference. Razor Ramon, one of the best wrestlers ever, didn't win a WWE championship, right? Kevin Keegan's Newcastle was often remembered for being called the entertainers. Yeah, even Rodgers, who didn't win, like that. Sterling, Suarez kind of front three. Obviously, the Gerrard slip kind of sticks up in the mind. Like, it was good football. It was entertaining. Pochettino, I'm going to reference Tottenham here, which pains me to say. Yeah, but Pochettino getting 86 points was a massive, massive achievement for him and for that football club. So, like, yeah, and again, Sparks, I have to agree with you, man. Like, can we stop pretending our board didn't stop going for titles under Wenger? Which is exactly what happened. Like, it's not like there wasn't a big Cold War at Arsenal that prevented us. It's not like that Chelsea and Man City were firing banknotes to kind of push us out of that title picture. Yes, Arsenal have always been the third biggest club in England. Yeah, and I will admit it's behind the likes of Manchester United and Liverpool. But like, he transformed us from being nowhere in the title picture we were a million miles away 5 years ago before Arteta came in to ever kind of being considered in any sort of title race. Like it was a pipe dream, an absolute pipe dream. Literally, we were the banter club. We were absolutely the banter club. And what Arteta has had to do is basically transform us from being 8th to 4th to 5th. Now again, will he get over the line or not? That is a question that remains to be seen. But, and I want to move on to Arsenal now. Yeah. It looks like, and Arteta said it himself in a recent interview, this year will be our year. I'm quoting Arteta here. I'm not saying it myself. I'm quoting Arteta here. Arteta has said it. This year we're going to do it. All right. I think that's a good segue to talk about Arsenal and Bournemouth and actually Man City and Chelsea in the title race. Because I think this weekend has been quite a big weekend in terms of where the title race is going. And again, Sparks said it as well. Our club was happy to stay behind the likes of Liverpool and United because they were getting their top 4 money, and that's the crux of it. They were getting their top 4 money. That they were happy to coast, and it was only when they fell out of the top 4 and actually fell out of European football entirely that they realised that they need to take something drastic here.
So, by the way, you telling me, just out of interest,
you know about the Wenger?
Talk about
Go on.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, go.
Go on, Tam, go on.
No, you're mentioning about going for titles under Wenger. I probably got this wrong, but I feel like early Wenger reign, early 2000s, yeah. But afterwards, I'm not sure about that. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it all about, what you just said now about just keeping in the top 4? Because I seem to remember Wenger not getting much money to spend. I feel like maybe 1 or 2 big signings here and there, but a lot of, emphasis on the, the youth, right? And Wenger used to go on about that. And that was like his famous thing, right? Using the kids and trying to develop the talent, So I don't know was Wenger really given much to push for titles? Like, I know there's a whole comparison of like, and maybe you're trying to say that Wenger was given the resources to push for the title, but he couldn't. But Arteta also was given the resources, but he could. I'm not sure about that. I'm not too sure about that. I mean, again, correct me if I'm wrong. Do you agree with that or not? Do you think that Wenger was in later years maybe not given as much back as he could have been?
Wenger was severely hampered by that move to Emirates. That took out a lot financially from the club. So yeah, I don't think he had as much resources compared to thingy. Like I'll see if I can send you guys the link. There was a recent T4 football thing on why Arsenal didn't win any trophies in that post Invincibles period, and it does go into a bit of sort of explains what Wenger was having to deal with behind the scenes. So yeah, where Sparks has written, he's made profit for most thingy. That wasn't. He might have made the profit, but I don't think he was allowed to spend the money that was made.
Sorry, repeat that, Omar, again. You cut off a bit.
Last time. So Sparks has written about where Wenger made a profit most transfer windows. Whether he was allowed to spend that profit, though, that's a bit of a question mark because you guys lost a lot of money in that move to the Emirates.
Yeah. Essentially what you kind of mentioned there, like basically when we had the Invincibles, there was a week where the club were basically struggling to pay the likes of Henry, Bergkamp, Perez's wages. So like the club literally could have gone broke with the Emirates move. It was really, really dire. And the only way that the banks would have financed the move and financed the club not going broke was if Wenger stayed in charge and got Champions football for the next 5 years consecutively.
You might hate me for what I'm about to say, Daniel. You might hate me for what I'm about to say.
And this is it. And going back to United's issues. wait. One second, Doug. Going back to United's issues. It was at boardroom level. There was a Cold War between Kroenke and Usmanov at Arsenal, where they were trying to kind of gain control of the club. Now, obviously, you're not going to be pumping up your asset for another rival to go ahead and take it. Like that severely hampered Arsenal whilst the likes of Roman Abramovich was going in there and basically taking our position as the Kings of London, essentially. So yeah, like it was a bad period for Arsenal. I think where the fans potentially turned on Wenger, if we want to go that far, and maybe the club as well, was where Ivan Gazidis kind of made the comment that we moved to the Emirates to compete with the likes of Bayern Munich, and then when we were facing the likes of Bayern Munich, we were getting pumped regularly by them. So it's this, and really, like, you could kind of look at the Cronkies taking full, complete ownership of them in 2018 as a bit of a fresh start. Kind of, maybe not where Wenger has left, but kind of the beginning of the Kroenke era versus like the end of the Cold War, if you like. That's my take. And I think if there's not unity and harmony at boardroom level, it's going to filter down to the likes of the manager. Yeah.
You can't sit there and say to me that if Arteta doesn't win anything with Arsenal, you'll be okay with that. I don't buy into that. Arsenal, the one thing that Arsenal under Wenger.
I'm not saying don't misrepresent me. Yeah, I'm not saying
don't misrepresent me, man. Carry on.
I'm not saying I'll be happy if Arteta doesn't win anything. I'm saying you can still acknowledge the fact that he's done a good job. Yeah, like you can't call him a fraud or a bum or a bottler,
like I said,
all of these words that have been labelled at him.
Like
all I'm saying is he's done a fantastic job to take us from where we were and to what we now become. Yeah, the fact that we've got 100% record in the Champions League and we're in January, 100% record in the Champions League in January is unheard of. Yeah, like and a club for like Arsenal as well that historically doesn't have a good record in Europe. Like he's done phenomenally well, and the point being as well, it's not like he's won nothing. He won a trophy in his first 6 months with the likes of Mustafi, Socrates, Matteo Guendouzi.
David Luiz.
That's it. I'm going to read out some of Spark's points here because they're good points. Another point that I do now, his job is at risk at Forest because he's crap. So sticking by Arteta seems wild, but they know they didn't get him everything until recently. That's interesting. So again, like there wasn't harmony between Edu and Nuno Espirito Santo, and again, it was the manager who got the flack for it rather than the director of football. If we got Usmanov, we would have had charges like City and Chelsea. So that's another discussion, I guess. Thinking about 115 or 130 and the impending charge that Chelsea have admitted to as well. So it'll be very interesting to see the outcome of Chelsea's punishments as well, because they're hoping for leniency from the Premier League, but we have to see.
I do want to challenge.
And again, fully we don't just want an FA Cup.
Yeah. Sorry, Daniel. I want to ask you one thing. Yeah. So, the point you made about if Arteta were to leave now at this point in time, you would still, again, I might misquote you. I need to check the group chat, but you would still regard him as a legend. I want to challenge that because, listen, I think he's done a brilliant job. Right? He's done it. All right, not legend. What do you say? Like, you're done? Would you say that? Is that what he's?
He would have done a great job. He would have had a great job. Yeah. There's a difference between calling someone a legend of a club or a team and saying someone's done a great job.
Fine.
Yeah,
great job. But would you say? Look, I'll say this: he has done a very good job so far, for sure. Like what he's done to get Arsenal back challenging and transforming the team, and like you said, you're a banter club, and it takes a lot of work to change that, for sure. Like he has done a very good job, but you like to use this quite a lot. Two things can be true, right? So I agree that he's done a very good job, but I wouldn't classify him. And I know you're not saying he's great. You're saying he's done a great job. That's two different meanings, but I wouldn't agree with either of those. I think being a great or doing a great job, he has to get that trophy at the end, because it's all well and good getting all these points accumulation, breaking the record points for the club, this and that. But then the final most important games where you need to get the 3 points over the line against Villa in the last 5 games and get that Premier League trophy, I think those are the bits that really, really define you, in my opinion. And I think he would. He is going to get his Premier League trophy. I've said this to you last week. I said this to you many weeks before. I think you look the strongest. I don't see City matching you. I think you are going to break that, but I think he does need that, in my opinion. I mean, what do you think?
Obviously, like, for him to get that greater recognition away from Arsenal. So obviously, I'm speaking as an Arsenal fan here, and there was a point where like it became almost unbearable to go to the Emirates, like, and like, to the fact that I had 3 club level seats and I had to take Dog, a United fan, with me into club level. Like it was bad, bro. It was bad. Like fans didn't want to even celebrate Arsenal getting a last minute equalizer against Southampton. Like, it was like, do we celebrate this? But like, we want this guy gone. Like it was a very, very bad period for our club. But yeah, like, for him to get the recognition away from Arsenal fans, like away from our bubble, he does need that title, be it a Premier League or a Champions League. And the fact of the matter is, like, he's outlasted the likes of Klopp. Maybe the same time period. He's outlasted like some Maresca, who Chelsea fans were glazing that, champions of the world. He's won the Conference League. He's outlasted a number of Tottenham managers, a number of Man United managers. So he clearly has the full backing of the board, the full backing of most Arsenal fans. I don't want to speak for all Arsenal fans here, but most Arsenal fans. Some Arsenal fans still do want him out. But there's harmony and unity here, which we just did not have before. It was a divided fan base, and he's managed to unite that fan base, managed to unite the club. So yeah, that's my feeling. Just want to read out some of Sparks' comments here, because I think they're really, really good. Great job, but he would just be a good manager, not a great one, until he wins big trophies. Yeah, I fully agree with that, and that's my point. Like, he's got us challenging again, which just seemed unfathomable 6 years ago when he first started as a rookie manager, a guy who's never managed a club before, ever. Remember, he's going against the likes of people who've had 20, 30 years experience. And that's my point on Arteta's tenure. Like, he's had to kind of had multiple projects. One, to kind of get us competitive, changing the culture, unifying the fan base, and if we're thinking about his phases now, like, maybe we're now in kind of phase 5 now, where it's now challenging consistently to win the major trophies. And yeah, I do agree with your point to a degree. Like, that Aston Villa lost a couple of seasons ago in the 8-9 point season. But it might have been a pod that you went on, Tamim, but I said it before. In an 8-9 point season, in most years in the Premier League era, that gets you the Premier League. It just so happened we were going against, basically peak City 2 years in a row. And the first title challenge, really and truly, Arsenal should have been challenging for top 4. Like, we went above expectations to be leading where we were. And yeah, you can say we bottled it that year because we were in front so much, but we just weren't ready for it. We weren't ready to challenge for the league. Saka at the time was 21, 22. Martinelli was 21, 22. We were the youngest team in the league at that point. We weren't the best squad. We weren't the best team. This year, I think you said it as well, Tamim. I think we are. I think Sparks is quite big on this point, actually. Honestly, bidding Edu and getting Bert is the biggest indicator that the owners now want to win. So it's quite interesting. I think it's probably where I disagree with Sparks, in that Sparks thinks that Edu was sacked, and that we're like us getting Andrea Berta from Atletico Madrid as sporting director has kind of showing that kind of change in ownership. I do think that Edu kind of thought that the grass was greener on the other side and wanted to maybe triple his wages by having this Zara football role across Marinakis' football empire. But yeah, I agree with you. What I do think is an indication that the owners now want to win is not going for Jason Ato. So Jason Ato is now the sporting director at Brighton, who last January famously did nothing whilst the squad was crying out for some reinforcements, crying out for a striker, crying out for a winger of some sort, whilst players were dropping like flies. I think if they hired Ato, that would have been the indication that, yeah, maybe they just want to settle for top four. But like, yeah. So Sparks disagrees in the head. Don't start with that youngest squad in the league thing. That's a Chelsea thing. But it was true. It was true of Arsenal 3 years ago. Like they weren't ready to challenge for the league, in my opinion. They didn't have that winning mentality. Yet the following year, buying the likes of Declan Rice, buying the likes of Kai Havertz, I think, yeah, he should have won the league in that 89-point season. But, you know, were it not for Heung-min miss or Chris Wood miss from 2 yards out, like Arteta would have a Premier League title under his belt right now. Zaid, you're awfully quiet here. do you
no, he hasn't spoken at all. Go on, Zaid.
I just feel like I think it's frustrating with the charges that City have against them that it takes a City, a malfunctioning City, to give any other team a chance to win the league. Like, even when they're at their best, like the points that we've accrued against them, the points that you've accrued against them in seasons, they're still just inevitable when that machine is rolling. It has to take them to be not playing well for anyone else to have a chance at winning the league. And that is incredibly frustrating. They've just been so dominant for so many seasons. It's I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with the 115 charges. We don't know when or if that's going to even come through. So that'll be interesting to see. But I think what you said about, as much as I love to give Arteta stick for not having won anything yet, I think it's really important seeing what Klopp did at Liverpool and how he brought everyone together, provided an identity for the club, provided a style of play, created a community, and brought the local area, Liverpool itself, back in touch with the fans. And he had a philosophy not only on the football pitch, but off the football pitch as well, and would say the right things at the right times. And he was the kind of person you could get behind. Having someone like that does a huge favor for the club going forward. And he left the club. He didn't leave the club in turmoil. He left the club in a good state. And I think I can see what Arteta has done at Arsenal in terms of uniting the club and steadying the ship and creating slow progression. I mean, yeah, we could talk about how, you know, he won't be great. He won't be a great manager until he wins a trophy, but it looks like that's going to be coming at the end of the season anyway. So yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just have to see how things pan out for the rest of the season. I think you are definitely the only club that looks like they're being well run at the moment in terms of the team. So everyone else is faltering all around you. I mean, I think if United were to win their next game, I think they would have been in fourth or something like that. So yeah, I mean, going back to Amorim, I don't think he did a very bad job, and I think he had the club in a good position. If I was a United fan, I'd be incredibly frustrated with the board having gotten rid of him more than anything. I think if you're going to sign him and spend the money for his players or the type of players he wants, then you should back your manager. But I mean, yeah, it's crazy. It's January and 2 of the top big 6 teams are managerless, which is crazy to think.
Yeah, good point. Very, very good point. Yeah, I think what you mentioned there about like your league titles that you would have won, you know, what was it, a 94 point season, and potentially going undefeated in that year as well, and to still not win the league, like it's just kind of crazy. And yeah, I think once it's all kind of done and dusted, there'll be a lot of rewritings of history, if you like, and a lot of asterisks being put up on City's title wins. One thing I do want to mention, big up yourself, SJ. Yeah. How you doing, man? Hope you're good. If you're in the chat, if you're in the comments, please drop a like, please drop a sub. I think going back to your comment, Zahid, I think we will see at the end of the season if Arteta's won the league. We will see if he's won potentially a League Cup as well, because we're in the semi-final of that. One thing that Declan Rice did say is don't judge Arteta now. Judge Arteta at the end of his tenure when he wins everything, because he will. So he had full faith in what Mikel is selling and doing. That the fact that the likes of Gabriel, who could have moved to Saudi Arabia a couple of seasons ago, Hand of Arsenal mentioned a couple of weeks ago that William Saliba was tempted by Real Madrid, and Real Madrid were doing absolutely everything to re-sign him or to sign him. And the fact that he didn't and has re-signed for Arsenal kind of shows where the squad is at. They believe in this manager. They believe in the vision of Arteta. And I think we'll see that come to fruition at the end of the season. Sparks has a question for the Liverpool fans. It's not what you guys accuse Arteta of being. Really arrogant. Over to you guys.
I don't think his. I think people play. I think Slot is honest in his press conferences and the interviews he gives after the game. I mean, he maybe it's a Dutch thing in terms of the way it comes across to the English, in terms of it gets lost in translation. But I mean, he just said that they were expecting that Liverpool were expecting a long throw, and that's why they brought Gomez on to bring some height and some defensive stability for that long throw. Obviously, Fulham did not take a long throw in, dropped it off to Harrison Reed, and I'd say, I mean, credit to him, he took it on and literally top bins. That was a beautiful strike. Apparently, he said he's been practicing that in training, but I'm sure most of them probably went ballooned over. But it was, I mean, it was disappointing. We'll get on to talk about Liverpool, but it was disappointing to see that there was no thought to, like push out and close him down, or, maybe not pack the entire box with the squad, with the full 11. So yeah, there's ifs and buts and maybes, but yeah, I mean, it's frustrating to see. I mean, I don't think we play fantastic football at the moment. I think we create good chances and we have good options, but I don't think we're playing exciting football. I think we're much more successful doing a sort of a high press. But maybe we don't have the players to necessarily do that at the moment. We've got players who are out of form, who are aging. I mean, Robertson used to have an absolute gas tank down that left side. He doesn't seem to have the legs anymore. I don't know what's happened to McAllister this season as well, but I mean, I think he played okay against Fulham. We all know what Cody Gakpo does. We've spoken about it regularly on this podcast. Ekitike was out. Isak is out. Obviously, we lost Luis Diaz on the left side. I mean, so there's been a lot of change this season in terms of our squad and who's come in and who's gone out. So it's just frustrating that this has happened after the season after we've won a title. I would love to have, attempted to retain that title. But we were linked with Semenyo, and now Semenyo's probably going to go.
There were posts from Liverpool fans after Gakpo's goal saying, "Oh, but if we beat Arsenal now, we're only 9 points. We're only 9 points away." And obviously Gakpo going full Richarlison, as you mentioned in the thumbnails.
Oh god! I mean, you just can't do that. Like unless it's an absolute last minute winner and the whistle goes after. Like it's like the 2-goal curse. It's like the shirt off curse.
Yeah,
honestly, so pointless.
SJ with I think a really good question. Do you believe you can win another title under Slot? Big players pivot when the Premier League left or come to the end of the peak. So the likes of Van Dijk, the likes of Salah having a big fallout, Konate maybe hitting his peak already. Yeah, question marks, I guess, over them. And I guess like that cycle that Klopp built basically coming to an end. You know, we've seen the likes of Trent leaving as well. Maybe a bit of decline for Alisson as well. I'm not sure, but yeah, what do you guys think?
I'll let you go on that one time.
It's a hard one to answer, to be honest with you. So there's a lot that I do like. I don't know about a lot, but there's a few things that I do like under Slot, and there's a lot that I don't. And I think a lot of Liverpool fans feel this way as well. Like, you know, even with the whole style of play change, like slot ball, if you want to call it that, like I can see what he's trying to do, but I don't know if he'll last long enough for it to be fully perfected, or if he can even perfect it. Like even the game against Fulham, there's quite a lot of good things about it, like the amount we held the ball and we created a lot of chances against them, and not just holding the ball in sort of useless areas, but the ability to progress it and hold it around near the opposition box and being better in tighter spaces. You know, the sort of style of play that Arteta's doing at Arsenal, City, Pep Guardiola, Pep at Barca, obviously nowhere near that sort of level, but it's that sort of style of play that we're going for, which is almost the total opposite of Klopp. Not that Klopp's Liverpool couldn't do that, but he preferred like an engine in midfield, fast direct play, fullbacks, you know, creating chances more for us. It was very different, you know, gegenpressing, all of that. And it's not that he couldn't do it again. Like we had players like Keita, Shaqiri on the bench that could come on and keep the ball and be good in those sort of tight spaces. But what Jones is doing now, what Gravenberch did last year, you know, yeah, there are improvements in those sort of aspects. But then again, on the flip side of it, you know, the defense is terrible. That's not been addressed. And is that Slot's fault? Is that the transfer committee's fault, or a combination of both? I think it's a combination of both. I think the transfer committee could have done better in the defense for sure, but then Slot could also be doing better tactics to help our defense. And it's taken a long time for him to even like this improvement in form. You know, there's still a lot of draws there. There's still first goal conceding. There's still last minute goals against us. You know, it's not been a great improvement. So will he last long enough for him to have? He's got this idea in his head. You know, this slot ball, this perfection. I don't know if he's going to last long enough for that to come to fruition, because we're getting a bit tired by it. We are being boring. Like Sparks said, we've gone to 2 miles per hour. But going to 2 miles per hour, like what Barca did with Pep, or what you guys do, what City have done under Pep, is different, because you're still creating chances and being solid at the back. We're not. We're creating chances. We're scoring some goals, but we're not being solid at the back. And also the point about sort of unifying the team, the harmony. I'm not seeing that charisma from Slot that Klopp has, and maybe it's unfair to compare to Klopp. You know, he was such a great leader, great charismatic sort of manager, but that is needed in my opinion. And I'm not seeing that sort of running onto the pitch, hugging the players, and I kind of miss that. I do really miss that. I think that's as important as style of play as well. So I don't know if we can. You know, it's there's a lot to it, lot to that question. I don't think he will last long enough to do so. That sounds pessimistic, but yeah, I don't think we'll last.
And I think, again, we've discussed this in previous pods, but like, I think that decline had started like maybe from like January of last year. After Salah's numbers just kind of started to dwindle a little bit, Liverpool's results weren't exactly all firing. And I don't think it's because you guys are like didn't care anymore because the title was won. I think the decline had already started. Let's see. Slot only won the league because of that Salah nucleus and everyone else was dropping off. Yeah, kind of the point I was mentioning here. Sparks. The thing is, you need players with the urgency to get back. Yeah, it's a good point. One thing which I think you're translating that you kind of maybe forgot about is that element of like making sure that players like Kerkez and Frimpong can actually defend spaces. And
I think Frimpong was a solid player at Bournemouth. I think Kerkez was a solid player at Bournemouth. So I don't know. I don't agree with that that comment. But also, I mean, we had chances. Gakpo had a great chance at the beginning of the game against Fulham. Should have buried the chance. It went wide. McAllister also hit the crossbar as well with a header from a corner. So I mean, this whole season we've been there or thereabouts. It just hasn't come off. We've had opportunities. I do think that as much as I love the high pressing style of play, I don't think it's a sustainable form of football beyond a season or two, because the players will get injured with that style of play. And I feel that I don't think Slot is necessarily doing a bad job at the club, but I feel if I look at Arsenal and you've got 2 players for every position, we don't have that. Like if I look at the bench that we've got at the moment, half the bench is academy players, and we just had like Chiesa and it was Chiesa and one other person who came off the bench for us. It was I'll tell you in a second. We had Frimpong, Chiesa, and Gomez who came off the bench for us. I mean, other than that, the rest is Robertson and then some academy players or some young players. So we don't have the squad depth. Even though we had an amazing transfer window. We didn't shore up positions which we should have, like the centre back. Like we should have got Gahey. Now he's been linked with City. We were linked with Semenyo, and now he's linked with City. And then we didn't sign another defensive midfielder when Gravenberch just basically, we needed him fit for the whole season for us to get that title last season. He had a phenomenal season. I mean, last season we had, I think it goes hand in hand. You need players to have outstanding seasons as well as having a manager who knows how to play those players to allow them to flourish. And I think both those things happened, and both of things were true last season. But this season, now that Salah has not been hitting the form that he has, we've got AFCON, we've got players that we've signed who are now injured. I mean, Frimpong came. I think he's been injured twice since he signed for us. Isak is now out for a long-term injury. Ekitike was just out injured. There's been some problematic defensive coaching because I don't understand how we can go from being solid defensively last season, or at least more solid than we are this season, to where we're at now. Van Dijk has looked a little bit sluggish on the ball, a bit too lazy, or maybe players have just cottoned on to his slow play. I mean, if you look at his age and how long he's been playing at a high level for us, it's fine. I mean, yes, the squad is aging, and we are getting towards the end of the cycle, so there will be a little bit of a dip in form going forward. But you have to look at it long term. You can't look at it from a season to season basis. And I'm sure Arsenal fans would say the same. So in that sense, I think if I look at it from a wider picture, I mean, the week in, week out results are not helping, but at least we aren't losing. So I mean, I'd be happy for us to play boring football if we were higher up the table and we're winning more games. Like I said last week, defense wins championships, offense wins games. So I think it's really important to have a solid base. Let's see what happens in this transfer window and who we sign, if we sign anyone. Liverpool aren't like United, so I don't think I see us sacking Slot before the end of the season. I think he'll last the season, and then they'll have a discussion at the end of the season based on where we finish in the league and in the Champions League, and then take it from there in terms of what the plan is for the seasons going forward.
I for one would find that hilarious. SJ finishing behind United could be deemed a sackable offence. It could happen. It could happen. It doesn't look like it will happen now. The fact that United don't have a manager in place, but their form is matching each other. So yeah. Let's talk a bit about the title race. I know everyone thinks it's a foregone conclusion. It felt very, very haram seeing Chelsea score a last-minute goal and me cheering for a Chelsea goal like I did on Sunday. Felt like I had to do ghusl or something after that, man. Yeah, very, very happy with that. Like the fact that the last time we podded, Arsenal 2 points clear, and now it's 6 points. It felt seismic, as I mentioned.
Can I just say, actually, just quickly, I just want to give credit to that under 21s Chelsea manager who stepped up, who made the changes at halftime. He took off Esteval, right? He took off Esteval, and he made changes at halftime that helped them draw the game after City had dominated the entire first half. So, I mean, I was just thinking, like, what must it be like? You're just there coaching the under 21s, and then you get called up by the board and say, you're in charge for the next game and City is your next game. Like, what that must feel like. And then to go on and draw the game with a last-minute equaliser, that must have just been incredible for him.
Yeah,
so,
and
complete ratings.
This guy doesn't even have like a picture up on like some of the major websites. Like, he's just literally come out of nowhere and managed to pull this result out of the bag. Like, the irony was it broke a lot of Chelsea hearts because Chelsea fans are desperate for us to bottle this league. But yeah, I think Terry Flowers kind of called it right. He was like, the real Chelsea fans celebrated that goal because there's still so much to play for at this point in the season.
I think if you have to,
why your team loses? Come in.
It's just a bit ironic that you're depending on Chelsea to help you out, like you were depending on Heung-min Son to help you out. It's like small club mentality. That's what it is. It's small club mentality.
The fact of the matter is, right, and Zahid alluded to it as well, right? You don't win the league based on your own results solely. You're always rooting for your rivals to drop points. That's how a league format works, Dark. Yeah, you have to rely on your opposition to drop points to win a title. That's how it works. Anyway,
thank you for the advice from a guy who supports a team who hasn't won the Premier League in 22 years, man. What are you talking about, man? That's a small club mentality. How are you depending on other teams? What kind of nonsense is that? All right, if you want to win the league,
that's how the league works, bro. That's how the league works.
Wait, is that how the league works?
Your rivals have to drop points.
Oh, is that how it works? Yeah. Is that how it works? Yeah. Okay, cool. I'll bear that in mind. Yeah. Thank you for that. I've been well informed. Yeah. Thank you, Omar, for giving me a bit of a boost in the chat as well.
I don't know what he said. Something with Tottenham lost University and had to call out the fans. Yeah, exactly.
Can you see the awkward silence, Daniel? I'm sorry, man. I know you said you wanted to make this PG today. That's not going to happen.
I said same thing with Tottenham last season versus City and had to call out the fans. So, like, again, like you want to win, right? You're not rooting against your own club. That was the point of and calling out the fans. Yeah. You want your club to do the best possible thing that it can actually do. Yeah, I don't know what you said because my internet was freezing. So whatever you said, Doug, I'm sure it was nonsense.
Don't try and diss me today, bro. I'll violate you, man. I'm just kidding. Carry on. What are we talking about now, Daniel?
I don't know what you're violating, bro, but it's definitely not me, man. Anyway,
okay,
and especially where United are at the moment as well, bro. Let's not talk about violations.
It's fine, man. I know we're crap. There we go. I'm only wearing the shirt. Remember, I paid 20 quid for the shirt. That's why I'm wearing it. I've got to get my money back in it.
I'm well aware what we've been going an hour 15. I know Omar was asking a really good question, actually. Do the neutrals actually want Arsenal to win the league or not? I'll put this over to you guys because I firmly believe that it's Arsenal against the world. But over to you, boys. What do you think?
Zai, you
All right,
first.
shall I give my opinion
Oh,
first?
Tamim, go on.
All right. I personally would rather if it was is between City and Arsenal, in my opinion, I would rather City win it, and that's not because it's the whole we hate Arsenal sort of thing. That would be the same case if it was Man United and City in the title race. It's the whole I've got Arsenal mates, I've got Man United mates, I've got even a few Chelsea mates and friends and whatever, but I don't know really like City. Like there's no like friendship where you want to take the piss out of each other. There's no banter there. There's no like, between your friends or your cousins or your whatever. Like, and so that's where I would disagree with you about this whole it's against Arsenal sort of thing. Like, I think it's just anyone. And even back in the day when we were terrible and Man United were dominating, the rivalry was still there. And there's a couple of those sort of seasons where we were piping up a little bit with Brendan Rodgers, like you mentioned earlier. And they were, my cousins were not hiding it. They were kind of hoping for, they were definitely hoping for City to win the league when we were going up against them. And they were very happy when we slipped it up, no pun intended, Stevie G, if you're listening, but, when that was all happening, it was, it was going against your mates. It was going against your cousins, going against, all of that just for the banter. So it's not a whole Arsenal against Arsenal thing. It's just who your mates with, who your friends and family, who your rivals are. I think it's just purely that. And yeah, I would 100% rather City win the league. And the same would apply if Man United were up against them as well.
It was your question, but you can answer it. I haven't heard from you in a little while.
I would say, particularly if you take out aside the main rivals, so take out United, take out Liverpool, take out Chelsea, Tottenham, City. I mean, if you're looking at the rest of the league, you're looking at the Bournemouths, the Evertons, etc., etc. I reckon they would favour Arsenal to win the league over City. The reason being is I think City have dominated for a long time, and the league is always better when you've got different winners coming in. Part of the reason why the Italian league has got so popular over the last few years is because Juventus have stopped dominating and they basically had a different winner more or less every year for the past 6 years or something like that. Otherwise, if we continue down that trend, which is City always win, we do run the risk of becoming a farmers league. That's why I would say
it does feel like, from an Arsenal perspective, that every team or fan base we go against plays us like we're their cup final, right? That's not the case when they play against City. And I think, kind of going back to what you said, Tamim, as well, the whole point of City is that they don't have ops. Like, they are like the Switzerland of Premier League clubs. Like, no one's ever really hated them. They don't really have major fans that speak out until fairly recently. Like, people don't hate them for that reason. Well, we saw a couple of seasons ago, that 89-point season had come up, right? And you mentioned that Villa loss, Tamim, yeah? Unai Emery rested his entire 11 against Manchester City at the Etihad, expecting them to lose. Yet when they came to the Emirates, he played his first team. So it's that sort of thing, right? Like teams care more facing Arsenal versus Manchester City. That's my feeling. And they go to Manchester City knowing that they'll get beat. And I think Arsenal are slowly creeping into that territory where teams might rest a couple of their players, thinking that they might maybe have a better set of results the following weekend. But that's my view.
I don't know if Emery rested his entire, because his left back and his right back, he didn't play Matty Cash and his left back and his right back were different for you than he played the next week, and everyone else was still the same.
No,
the lineup was still the same.
I'm not talking about this season. I'm talking about.
Last season? Okay.
No, I'm talking about in the 89-point season that Tamim referenced.
Oh, okay, sure. So, with regards to yeah, I mean, so I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me, like Tamim. Like, I've got a lot of Arsenal supporting family and friends. And last season, every single game week, every single Liverpool game. They watched every single Liverpool game, and they were praying and hoping every single match that we would lose. That if we went behind, we would lose, and then they'd be so disappointed every single week up until
But we
the
were in the
league
title
title
race
was
with you, though,
confirmed.
right? We were
Sorry?
in the title race with you. We were in the title race with you, right?
Yeah,
So
but
it's slightly different in that regard. But yeah, go on.
yes, I guess so. But maybe it's just my algorithm and my timeline. But there's been multiple seasons of delusional Arsenal fan content that has been out there. I mean, that's obviously, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it just controls the zeitgeist, but there's so much of it that neutral fans have just become. It's also become fashionable to watch Arsenal,
Bottle it.
internet personalities crash out week on week. And I mean, that was probably started by AFTV and has continued since. But I don't think Arsenal fans help themselves. And I know you, as an Arsenal fan, you can't control what other fans do or what other fans say. But for some reason, it just happens to be that there's so much more of that coming from Arsenal on the internet than anyone else. That neutral fans, I feel, just enjoy so much to see Arsenal bottling it. I guess it's just fun to watch a team bottle it when their fans are so passionate about it. And I don't think it's as like Tamim said. I think anyone would take a City win over an Arsenal win because there's like a vested interest when it comes to Arsenal compared to City.
I'm just going to reiterate my point for Tamim because he dropped off the stream. So the whole kind of point of City is that they don't have ops. Like they don't have opposition fans where like people hate them. And like just kind of agreeing what B said here, it's always harder for a London club to win the league considering how many London derbies there are. Like Arsenal have rivalries with Tottenham, they have rivalries with Chelsea, they have rivalries with West Ham. Like all of these clubs consider Arsenal to be their London rivals, let alone their title rivals or rivals outside. Dog, you're disagreeing. Go on. You're shaking.
Okay, here's the reality.
So vigorously, you might as well be Churchill right now. Go ahead.
Stop cock blocking. Let me talk. From a purist point of view, I like the way Arsenal's playing football. I can admire them for that. But I dread the day Arsenal win something because Arsenal's fans are unbearable. I don't think anybody likes Arsenal's fans. And it's not like the club. I don't hate the club. I don't hate the team. I think Arsenal's got a wicked team. I'd love to have that set up at United. But I know the problem with Arsenal is that you guys do. It's almost like you do 5 minutes of work and you expect 50 years of reward. You guys just. Can I swear? You guys just chat shit. That's what it comes down to. You just chat so much crap. You ain't won the Premier League for 22 years. You've never won a Champions League, and you have the audacity to start saying Chelsea's a mid-tier or lesser than you guys. Chelsea's won 2 Champions Leagues. They've won the Champions. They beat Man City during their peak to win the Champions League the second time around. Arsenal, the problem is they are history merchants. You take out the Invincibles, what is Arsenal's history in the Premier League? Zilch. You take out the treble from Manchester United, they still have 12 years of Premier League success that they can fall back on. Arsenal, I don't know, man. They're just, I want to make some really naughty references, but I can't. I just find Arsenal fans unbearable. I get it. You guys have always wanted to win, and you always wanted to achieve. And you've always been underachieving, but I just worry that Arsenal they seem to think everybody's against them as a club. Nobody likes Arsenal fans. That's all it comes down to. I'm sorry, Daniel. I love you as a brother, man. You're a great guy. But when you become like pro, you're proper fuming right now. I just can't stand Arsenal fans. They're unbearable, man. It's just frustrating. You guys are going to win the Premier League this year, and you are going to be unbearable. You're going to mention this for the next 20, 30 years. Even when Skynet takes over and we're all sitting in camps, we've got no food or water, you'll be like, remember when Arsenal won the league? Arteta, I'm dreading it. I know you guys are going to win the league this year. I actually think you're going to win the Champions League as well, and I'm going to hate that day so much. Not because I don't think it's good for your club, because your club actually deserves it because of the football you guys are playing. It's just your fans are going to be absolute, and you're going to be unbearable. It's like, look at Liverpool. They've been the best team in the world for the last few years. Yeah, their fans are a bit arrogant, but they've had to humble themselves. Arsenal always blames everybody else, brings everybody else. They hype themselves up so much. You guys have been a small club for such a long time, but you got the loudest voice. Damn, that felt good. Sorry, I had to get that out of me, man. Just like all this dirty that was coming out. I'm like, hush it up, man. Sorry. You can hit me back now, bro. I'll go mute. I'm so sorry about that.
I honestly stopped listening halfway through. I have no idea what you're saying, bro. But
can I come in, or did you want to reply? I was going to come in, Daniel, or do you want to reply to Uzi?
Yeah, go ahead, Timon.
No, I was going to say, so I was gutted about my bloody connection just losing there, because it was a good discussion we were having, and you were raising a very good point. I think you know what you were sort of saying about Man City, and what I was saying as well about maybe Man City not having many rivals and not knowing many City fans. When you said about teams coming to Arsenal and feeling like it's a cup final every other Premier League game, I remember sort of feeling that under Klopp. When we started getting good again. And I was thinking, like, these teams are coming at us, and Sky Sports are making such a big deal about this underdog team come in and can they get a point against us? And also after some games where we would drop points and thinking like their goalie, who's some average no-name goalie, has had just like the best game of their freaking life, just against us because it's Liverpool and it's such a thing to prove a point against. And yeah, no, 100%. I actually felt that same sort of way. So I totally understand where you're kind of coming from. But then I would disagree a little bit on the I forgot who commented saying Arsenal have the most rivals, or maybe it's harder for the London club to win a Premier League. I think every big team has rivals, and multiple rivals. Like we're coming up against Everton, Man United. Arsenal will be considered rivals for us. Chelsea, because of the previous games we've had, the Mourinho ghost goal, etc. All of that, it's not. So I disagree that it's harder for Arsenal, but I do think that if you're going up against City in the title race, you are going to maybe come against more teams that will root for you to lose. And that's whether it be Liverpool or Arsenal going against City. So I do agree with you there. I do agree with you on that bit.
By the way, B97C, I actually did go to a title parade when West Ham won the Conference League. They were balling down Green Street. Yeah, I was there. Yeah, I may have went and got my chicken and chips, but I was there. Yeah, so I'd actually
because you lived there, you prick.
Huh?
you stepped out of your house and the parade was there.
I did, yeah. West Ham United back inside.
Oh man. I'm fully aware it's 10 past midnight, and we haven't had a bit of a preview from Tamim about the Arsenal-Liverpool match on Thursday. Me, Aussie Dog, and Zaid spoke about it last week. Munchi as well. Omar, you can have your 2 cents on the Arsenal-Liverpool match. But Tamim, what's your views for Arsenal-Liverpool this Thursday?
I think we're going to get smacked up, man. I think you're going to win 3-1. Yeah, that's my prediction. I think we're going to sit back. Like Slot's probably going to try and park the bus. We'll have some good moments because I feel like we do play better against teams that do come at us and leave a higher line. We do well with space, but because of the style change that we've had, we're not going to exploit that space as well as maybe last year's team did or Klopp's team would have. And your team is just too dominant right now. I think you're strong in every area. You're going to win 3-1. That's my prediction.
Munchi?
I'll sort of parrot Timim's lines there. I do think Arsenal will win. You're at home. Your form at the moment has been on point. There's no real critique of you on that front there. Liverpool are patchy at the moment as well. I wouldn't say 3-1. I'd maybe go for 2-0. But yeah, I would say Arsenal have for the win.
I think the one thing that will help Liverpool in this fixture is the fact the pressure's off. No one is expecting Liverpool to do anything against us, which I think is a dangerous mindset for Arsenal and the players themselves. Like they need to be wary of the fact that this is still the Premier League champions. Like they haven't become crap overnight. I think it will help Arsenal if Ekitike isn't playing, because I do think you lack that kind of raw centre forward play against Fulham. You looked very kind of direct, especially in that first half. Yeah, I think as well, like Salah not being there also will help us. He's historically had a very, very good record against Arsenal as well. But yeah, as I mentioned, psychologically, the pressure is off Liverpool. And the pressure is on Arsenal to go and get a result. Again, we've seen from previous seasons with Arteta that when we've lost a game away from home, in the home fixture, we've gone and smashed the opposition. 2 seasons ago, when we lost against Newcastle in that infamous defeat, we smashed them 4-1. Similarly, this season as well, Villa beat us 2-1. We beat Villa 4-1 as well. So there is history for Arteta to kind of get a bit of revenge in some ways. But I agree with Monchi. I don't think it will be a hammering by any stretch of the imagination. And I think it might actually be quite a tight match. Maybe not exactly like what we saw at Anfield, because that was very, very early in the season. It wouldn't surprise me if Arsenal and Liverpool went to halftime and it's still being 0-0. This will be two teams that show respect to each other. And I guess we'll probably see the goals coming in the second half. Like that's kind of my preview for the game, I guess.
You're being too humble. You know Arsenal's going to pound Liverpool.
No,
they will, man. You know they're going to pound.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
You know they're not. You know they're going to batter them. Come on.
No, I don't think that. I don't think that at all. I don't think
Arsenal's under any pressure at all. It's just a formality for them. They know if they beat Liverpool, the title's theirs. 60%. That's not even me jinxing it. I'm being for real. Legit, you and I both know that Arsenal are going to hammer Liverpool. You're just kind of keeping it down just for now. You're building up that anger and animosity that I've been roasting you. You know it. Pounding is what allowed to happen.
I don't think it'll be a pounding. I do think it will be. I think Arsenal will be the better team. Liverpool will give it a goal. But yeah, I think Arsenal will win 2-0.
Yeah, I agree with Omar's take. Like I said, it's not going to be a humiliation, but by any stretch of the imagination, I think it will be a competitive match. But yeah, Arsenal are the informed team at the moment, so yeah, I do expect it to be a win. But like I said, in the same vein, like don't be surprised if Liverpool kind of nick a point or something like that. Like you guys are still good. Like you're not bums. And your form has picked up since your really, really poor form of October, November. So let's see. Like I hear there's going to be some literal fireworks pre-match. So do you got a point to say before we wrap up?
I think yeah, the Slot's aim will be to get in at halftime without having conceded a goal, and then the goals will probably come in the second half. I think he'll start off with a defensive first half, and then he might probably open up the play in the second half. That's when Arsenal will have more chances to score goals, and that's when the game will be more open. I think Arteta may do the same. He may choose to be defensively sound in the first half, and then see where we get to in the second half. But yeah, I mean, I expect Arsenal to come out with the win in the game. But yeah, I mean, the entire league is going to be supporting Liverpool in that game. But I think the best we can hope for is probably a draw.
Arsenal against the world, man.
So it was Arsenal against PGML last season, and Arsenal against injuries last season. Now it's Arsenal against the world.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You seem to have sorted out your fitness coaches and your backroom staff. Not getting as many injuries as you got last season.
We've still got so many injuries. It's just we've had the squad now to kind of cover it up. And like if we had our blip, it was because the likes of Gabriel was getting injured, Saliba was out, Mosquera got injured as well. So like at the beginning of the season, the injuries were in our front line, and we managed to kind of cope with our superpower being our defense. And then the injuries just moved through to the back line with Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel getting injured. Thankfully now they've all kind of made a bit of a return. We're still waiting for Mascara to come back. But yeah, it's up to Arteta to keep them fit and to try and keep them happy, because some players are just not getting minutes, like of Eze, like of Wanyeri. We spent £69 million on Eze and he's not getting looking at all. So yeah, he will be getting some minutes. Like he'll start against Portsmouth. He'll start in the League Cup, I would imagine. But yeah, like
there's no longer trust in the league games.
Yeah, exactly. And it all stems from the mistake he made against Aston Villa.
One mistake.
Yeah. So let's see. It's going to be a very interesting match. I will be there. I'll share my shorts post game at the Emirates. Tammy, you can do the same. I do enjoy your short side. If you want to do the same as well, please feel free to do so. I and some of the Clash boys will be going live on Friday with 40 Corner with Sparks to discuss the Liverpool match. So it'll be a joint Clash and 40 Corner production on Friday night. If you're still watching us at this late night, thank you so much. We absolutely love and adore you. Thank you for putting up with us and our rants. My rants, Uzi's rants. Honestly, thank you guys so much. Like and subscribe. We'll hopefully see you after Arsenal versus Liverpool on Thursday. But for now, it's over and out, guys.